Greetings from New York City. This is Chris Franco. Thanks for stopping by. There was an interview published just a few days ago with the creator of the Fyre Festival, fresh out of prison, Billy McFarland.
I've literally been out for just over 2 months.
Seen him starting to do the media rounds and try to reshape the narrative about what exactly he did. Naturally, that made me want to look up his court case. We'll get to that in a second, but first I wanted to show you a couple pieces here from this interview where I got a little bit uncomfortable.
That comment. I also think it's important to note that, like, you did do something. Yeah, you something up completely and you lied to a bunch of people, but you still were able to pull together something that, like, most people couldn't pull together.
It's really not that much of a feat to pull people together when you're lying about everything you're doing. It's not that hard. If we could all just lie without consequences, I'm sure people could put all sorts of stuff together, at least on paper, and raise money for it, but that's illegal.
You did tell some lies along the way, but, like, regardless,
you
overpromised and underdelivered, and you got fucked. But
stop. That's the problem. That's the narrative they're trying to bring up. I'm not saying the Nelk guys are doing it deliberately. For Billy McFarland, that's the narrative he needs to have.
You overpromised and underdelivered, and you got fucked.
In order for him to ever be able to do anything like this again, which, as I learned from this interview, he already has plans to do something very similar. This guy can't help but scam people. Like, this is just what he does. This is his character. And I'm not hoping that happens. I'm just a realist. I'll let you guys be the judge. But first, let me just show you what exactly he did so we can reason from a place of reality. I'll link to this document in the description if you want to check it out for yourselves. These are not my allegations. I'm reading off the government document. Since launching in May 2016, they said that they had thousands of offers that represented tens of millions of dollars, when in fact they had only had 60 bookings that were confirmed and paid. And those 60 bookings totaled $57,443. This isn't, oh, I got in over my head. This is, you were lying the entire time about everything. It gets better. And I'm not trying to be the referee of the internet, but it's like these people come on these shows in order to push their narrative, and it's really dangerous because that media, is going to be used to entice new investors. Look at the popularity and people still like me. This guy is a con man. Once a con man, always a con man. It stated that Fyre had acquired a parcel of real estate in the Bahamas worth approximately $8 million. Certain investors relied on this purported acquisition in making their investment decisions. Here's where it kicks in. In fact, Fyre Media never acquired any real estate in the Bahamas. Let me just highlight that again. Fyre Media never acquired any real estate in the Bahamas. How about item 38? The original offer report generated from the FyreApp.com booking platform included just $1.459 million in total offers for the month of January 2017. But the new fabricated report that they put together included $34.79 million in purported total offers for the same time period. Okay? Fraud. It says he sent the offer reports to numerous existing and potential investors. Using these false offer reports, among other documents, McFarland repeatedly made false statements to investors and prospective investors about the volume of offers received by talent through Fyre Media's booking platform. It gets even better. I mean, this guy he did his time, he paid his debt to society, but I don't think that he's changed. I don't think he will change. And let me just continue on before I get myself worked up here. In response to requests from at least 3 existing and prospective Fyre Festival investors that their investments be collateralized, McFarland created a fake brokerage statement, which showed that McFarland owned $2.56 million in shares in the common stock of Facebook. In fact, McFarland owned just $1,499 worth of Facebook shares. At the risk of oversimplifying this, him showing what he has in his brokerage account is a way for investors to be more comfortable investing with him, because if it all goes to hell, he has something that he can pay back. It says McFarland attached the fake brokerage statement to at least 3 executed investor agreements. It made numerous misstatements concerning his fictitious shares of Facebook and emails and texts to other prospective investors. It gets even dirtier. In early 2017, in an effort to keep the struggling Fyre Festival afloat, McFarland sought millions of dollars in personal loans from 2 well-established banks. To attempt to induce the banks to grant him loans, McFarland provided false information in his loan applications, including representations inflating his net worth and reiterating the false claim that he owned $2.56 million worth of Facebook stock. He also provided one of the banks with a copy of the fake brokerage statement, as well as a fraudulent Fyre Media income statement, which grossly inflated the company's revenue and income. Although both of McFarland's loan applications ultimately were denied, he repeatedly told potential investors that the loans had been approved and the monies from these loans could serve as collateral for their investments. He emailed one investor a screenshot of a fake email purportedly from a loan officer at one of the banks, which stated that McFarland had been approved for a $3 million loan and that disbursement of the loan was pending. The loan officer, not surprisingly, never drafted such an email. He also repeatedly told investors that a venture capital firm had completed its due diligence process and decided to invest more than $10 million in Fyre Media. In fact, at the time McFarland made these false statements to investors, the venture capital firm already had told him that it would not invest in Fyre Media due to McFarland's failure to provide requested documents. You just got in over your head, bro. No, he didn't. Okay, he's a fraudster. I mean, this is unbelievable. I just want everyone to make sure they're aware of this. In investor presentations and emails that McFarland provided to prospective investors, he also falsely stated that at least 10 well-known artists had exclusive contracts with Fyre Media. That is, that all of their future bookings would be made through the Fyre app. No such contracts, in fact, were ever in place. He told investors that Justin Bieber and Drake would perform at the Fyre Festival, when in fact no such agreements were ever reached. Okay, then back to Magnesis. I mean, guys, this is crazy. McFarland made numerous false statements and created fake documents to create the illusion that Magnesis would be, and then was, purchased by a third-party buyer for between $35 to $40 million. The scheme was undertaken in order to create the false impression, let's keep that in mind, false impression, for investors and potential investors that McFarland was a successful entrepreneur with a proven track record of success. In at least one instance, McFarland used a fictitious acquisition to solicit investment in the Fyre entities using the purported post-sale value of Magnesis as collateral. And this is crazy. As part of the scheme, McFarland concocted an ever-changing cast of purported Magnesis buyers. First, the purported buyers were an unnamed consortium of 5 companies. Next, they were a group led by a well-known fashion mogul. Then, it was a Connecticut-based broker-dealer. Again, all this is fake. As recently as April 2017, McFarland appeared to still be changing the identity of the buyers, proposing in an email to a colleague that the buyers could be a mixed group of celebrities, such as Jay-Z and Sean Combs or P. Diddy, as well as Fyre Media investors. He invented a name for the purported buyers, Saddleback Media, and listed Magnesis' New York City address as Saddleback Media's purported address. In other words, McFarland falsely claimed that Magnesis' purported independent buyer was headquartered at the same location as Magnesis. It's crazy, the coincidence. I mean, he's not even good at this. Like, he's just a scamming scumbag piece of shit, in my opinion. Again, it gets better. To imbue this scheme with a gloss of legitimacy, he engaged 2 large and reputable law firms to prepare transactional documents. It's crazy. To unwittingly paper the fictitious deal. He also created a fake employment retainer agreement between himself and Saddleback Media. This agreement bears the electronic signature of Saddleback's purported president, a certain I mean, come on, dude. A made-up person, and it says here, an individual who, on information and belief, does not exist. Now let's get to Magnesis, because Magnesis was a fraud. That was the one that you get the card, the black metal credit card, and they were doing events and things like that, but he inflated all the membership numbers. All of the documents misrepresented that Magnesis had between 7,000 and 40,000 members, and that between March 2014 and August 2015, it had 2.5 million in revenue. According to former Magnesis employees, however, Magnesis never had more than 4,000 to 5,000 members, and had peak monthly revenues in the range of $100,000 per month. So again, lies. Lie. So he basically said that the revenue was double what it was and that the membership was, well, on the extreme end, like 10 times more than it was. And he used this information and these inflated numbers to get subsequent investments in Magnesis that they never would have given him had they known the truth. There's a real pattern of behavior here. This is not just, I got in over my head with a Fyre Festival. It was just, I just want to have fun. And then it gets even better with the ticket scam. They started having tickets, like you could get tough to find tickets through your Magnesis membership. Magnesis employees and contractors repeatedly purchased tickets for Magnesis members at McFarland's behest from public websites. When tickets were unavailable from public websites, however, McFarland nonetheless would promise tickets to Magnesis members only to be unable to provide them. I'm gonna leave us there. I don't want to get too deep into it. I mean, there's a lot. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, this guy's a criminal, and he's on this podcast acting like everything's it's all good. I learned my lesson. Let me show you a couple more things on the YouTube here.
Show me one thing I said that's not true today. I'm ready.
Okay, Magnesis.
We had over 10,000 paying customers.
That's a lie.
We spent $30 million to execute this festival.
That's a lie.
We had 250 houses rented.
Lie.
Not true.
I spent $5.9 million of my own money.
Lie. The money that he did get, he did fraudulent things in order to obtain that money. This guy's a scumbag, right? Like, he went to prison, paid his debt to society. I'm not trying to hold this against him for his entire existence, but when I saw him on this podcast, he's already talking about his next thing. Let me show you this.
Yeah, so working on a company now. It's called PYRT. It's put it together in my 7-month stint in solitary.
He was in solitary, by the way, because he was trying to record a book and he had a USB recorder, which you're not allowed to have. And they sent him to the hole. So he's already trying to scam stuff in prison, if you think about it. This is a compulsively dishonest person.
Overall goal here with PYRT is like want to make the biggest impact possible and want to
Whoa, that sounds like Sam Bankman-Fried. I just want to make the biggest impact possible.
pay people back. But to do that, I need to do what I'm good at. And that's starting a business.
Not a festival.
Not a festival.
Oh.
We can get into that. Starting a business.
Whoa. Oh, shit.
No fire.
Yo, if
no
there's a
redemption,
festival,
no
I'm pulling.
He's going to scam again. I'd be willing to bet he ends up back in prison within the next 10 to 20 years. I know that's not like a crazy bet, but...
And I think does it in a scale that's a little bit more interesting this time around. Before we get into it, when I go back to the Bahamas for the first time...
By the way, there is people in the Bahamas, locals in the Bahamas, that he completely screwed over. Hardworking people. There was one woman from one of the documentaries who, she spent $50,000 of her personal savings to help make the Fyre Festival vision come to life, and she was totally left out to dry. She ended up, I think, getting some love through GoFundMe, but she's one example. There's a lot of people on the island where they were trying to throw the festival that never got paid. I mean, it's really, really, really atrocious stuff. Having no regard for, hardworking people that are working for you. It's a kind of character trait that is not something that you fix. That's someone's character.
When's that?
So I don't know how he's going to go back to the Bahamas. Talk about hubris to think that you're just, we're just going to go back.
I don't know what's going to happen. I have to ask permission to go, but I'd love for you guys to be there to capture the content and be the first ones to return boots in the ground. I think full send, getting the reaction from the locals.
Now watch, this is where the scammer charm comes in, because I think the Nelk guys, they seem like they're pretty down.
Hilarious.
Yo,
This is actually
that's great vlog. I love that video.
It's actually hilarious.
Dude,
The thing I would say to those guys is you don't want to be associated with a guy like this. That rubs off on you. And so if you're hanging out with scammers, not to say that you are a scammer, but it's hard for people to tell that you're not when you're, putting your arms around somebody who is, as we just read through those government documents. I mean, this guy is a convicted scammer, convicted fraud.
We will do the 4-day weekends that made the Fyre Festival idea happen.
wait till Steve hears this.
So
he's going to lose his shit.
here's your message in a bottle. And you guys can take that with you. But you guys, I really hope you guys can make the first return trip
So I'll open it right now?
back. It's just a little invitation. You guys can open it later, but I hope that you guys can come back.
let's open it now.
With the first trip.
Yeah, open that. Is it
It just disintegrates. The paper just...
going to evolve into another festival, or is this
So what PYRT is going to be, it's going to be a small permanent hotel in the Bahamas for artists and entrepreneurs to come and just partake in these crazy adventures.
You're just going to build it first, I'm assuming.
We're partnering with a development that already exists.
Got it.
So, we'll make it our
See it or
brand.
not? Should we go?
Dude, you got to come.
Yeah. I'm going. I don't give a fuck.
You got to come.
I'm going.
So-
Brad, you're going too. No.
We can
Pull up.
It doesn't exist yet. Just remember that. It doesn't exist yet. But you see what he's doing? See how it's already real? He's got, look at the invitation. Look, he put it in a bottle. Oh my God. This is legit.
Are you guys
Why don't
in?
you just live in the
Are
Bahamas?
you guys coming?
I'm going.
I
mean,
when?
I'm going. I don't give a fuck.
when?
So I have to ask permission to travel.
Yeah, he doesn't even have permission. permission to go, and he's already planning a festival there or planning a business there.
Due to my probation status, but we will ask soon.
Well, bro, what's...
I want to do it back to the original trip, a few small propeller planes straight from New York and doing the whole thing, OG status.
OG status, you mean when you stole money from your investors and use it to, get propeller planes to fly all your friends out there and film a commercial with a bunch of models that you paid top dollar to have fly out there as well? Again, with investor money that was coming from statements that were completely false and misleading. That's what he means by OG style.
The Caribbean and what we can make happen there.
By the way, he's trying to work these guys because they have a huge brand, they have huge reach. It's his target demo. And so if he can ingratiate himself with the Nelk Boys and the Full Send podcast, that's his thing, right? He makes himself look bigger than it is by associating himself with people that are doing it big, right? That's his whole shtick. For him to get on here and then, really win these guys over, it shows you how talented he is. He's a very talented scumbag.
I'll pull
wait,
up, dude.
I gotta ask before I agree to this.
What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Drop a thumbs up on the video if
Let
we
us
should
know.
go.
Real quick
Let us
though, what's your status with the people of the Bahamas?
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
have so many close friends there. They're the warmest,
Yeah, what about all the people you owe money?
kindest people ever. The day I got out, 2 of my closest friends there flew up to New York, literally for the first time from the Bahamas, spent a week here with me. My business partner has gone back a couple of times for the past couple of months.
Who's the business partner? I got to find that out. I'm going to stop here. You guys get the idea, though. The content I share with you guys through this channel and other, whether it's the CMQ podcast or anything else I'm doing, I want it to help all of us avoid, making bad choices with our hard-earned dollars, because we work hard for it, and there's a lot of people who are working really hard to get us to part with our money and for things that are not as advertised. On that note, let me leave it here. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll like it. Leave a comment. Appreciate you guys. For CMQ Investing, my name is Chris Franco. We'll talk soon. Later.